Basically, what we're doing is we're looking at this trend of detox, and that it's becoming more indulgent. Before, it was all about juicing and kind of restriction, and now it's about being indulgent and things being delicious. And also, there's a French chef that has also created a new book called Delicatessen Grain, which again is all about indulging these really healthy kind of pleasures so that it becomes more decadent. And also something that's really interesting, especially in the luxury market, some of you may have seen Hermès's new campaign for 2015 is called Wonderland, and it's all about leisurely time. And so what's interesting is for being a luxury brand, what they're essentially saying is the ultimate luxury may be taking time back. It's not about material things, but it's literally about taking our time back and being able to kind of experience like a Wonderland kind of experience, a very leisurely kind of experience, which is ultimately in this data-driven, like oversaturated world that we're in, the ultimate luxury. They've even done an exhibition in London that has turned into an amazing kind of art exhibit as well. We also work, I mentioned, with a lot of archestyles. So when we talk about who this consumer, who this information is essentially targeting, we've created archestyles that we kind of create a recipe. Like a brand, consumers aren't one personality. So some of the archestyles that we're looking at here are the seducer, the dreamer, and the earth lover. And essentially by taking these pieces of her personality, this is really who this consumer is when we talk about healthy glam. So I talked about performance being a key driver, but for this particular consumer, she is not in her 6 a.m. boot camp class. She's paddleboarding on a Sunday afternoon. So it's really not about being performance driven for her. And you can see too, she's very much based on this kind of Ayurvedic way of life. It's all about hydrating. It's about using a healthy diet to really kind of be beautiful from the inside out. The other theme that I wanted to share with you, we won't get through the whole thing, but it's kind of a 180 from healthy glam, and it's called the Arty Player. It's a much younger kind of demographic, but this one is very much all about self-expression. It's much edgier. So some of the emerging signs that we're looking at is Willow Smith, for instance, who's one of Marc Jacobs' muses now, and obviously she's been raised in a very creative household and very comfortable with self-expression. But also, I don't know if you guys have heard, June 8th is National Body Hair Day. And it's been something taboo for women for many years. But what we're seeing is consumers are really making it kind of fun and more artistic and kind of advertising that they have body hair, which is also kind of interesting. And then the archetype here changes quite a bit. So there's a little bit of the child woman. There's kind of this naivety here. She's a little bit more of a rebel. She's definitely a creator as well. And you can even see this consumer, she kind of invented this pop-tastic execution where it's very much optimistic, it's very much about pop art. She's global, it could be pulled from Korean pop culture, for instance. There's a lot, like we were talking about, Julie is very trendy right now by being Korean, especially in the beauty market. But you can see here, she's also very urban in her self-expression. She's definitely the one with the latest phone app. She's very experimental. There's a lot of new hostels popping up in Europe that have this much more kind of naive feel, kind of a game to it. They're engaging in all the new kind of exercise techniques. The color runs are very much a part of her lifestyle. And then you can even see the color palette is a little bit more kind of naive. It's also a little bit more playful. And then when we get into some of the products, for instance, instead of dip dyeing apparel, dip dyeing the ear to kind of be an accessory here. Hair extensions, much more kind of a graphic execution. This is a pigment that dyes your lip and your tongue the same color. So again, there's this kind of like novelty or kind of playful ideas when it comes into the products. Nail polish like markers to make it much easier to execute. Really innovative ways to dispense product. This was a cable car that they transferred into this kind of dispenser machine for travel size products. So having this kind of, novel dispensary is kind of interesting as well. And then also interesting fragrance diffusers. It's a bubble machine that's a fragrance diffuser, matches that are actually fragrance diffusers. So you can see the execution is very much around packaging and dispensing in this range as well. And a lot of these kind of jeweled techniques, eyelashes. And then again, these tubes that can be customized in a much more kind of naive way as well. And voila, I think we ended just before time.